All right, welcome once again. And let's go straight into the papers and see what major stories are happening across the continent this morning. We're starting in South Africa on the Sowetan. There, yes, you can see a big story there. I am not a thief. And that is from Cyril Ramaphosa. As his, of course, it says his integrity won't allow him steal money and he fights corruption. The president says his honesty is unshakable and pledges full cooperation with investigation. We'll continue to follow up on that one. It's a pretty interesting one, just on the front page of the Sowetan there. It also says there, states can't afford 15 billion rand for 16,000 extra classes. And just a few actually on the Sowetan this morning. In sports, it says Zikalala and Mchunu in stadium fight. It's a pretty interesting one. And those are the big ones on the Sowetan that we can share this morning on Breakfast Central.
All right, we have Joe as well who's joining us, and he'll be looking at our next paper.
Most definitely, guys. Good morning. Good morning, Africa. Want to take a look at the Punch from West Africa, where stories indeed hotting up. A developing story there. The front page says gunmen disguised as worshippers massacre over 35 in Ondo State. OAU alumni ex-chair, wife among the dead. It was like a war front, according to Survivor. Attackers arrived when we were ending service, shot from different angles, the priest says. It's Black Sunday, Akeredolu, Afenifere, Buhari, Osibajo, governors, Tinubu, others mourn. And you can see the picture there on the front page. That's Governor Akeredolu, who actually had to leave where he was and fly back into his state, leaving Abuja and the likes to ensure that he comes to see what actually took place. You can see the police officers there, survivors also on the hospital beds trying to survive, ensuring that they can actually stay alive. Such a sad day, a gloomy and a bloody Sunday, as many called it. And no doubt this is one of the stories that we'll keep talking about. It's still making the headlines. It's a developing story because forensic reports have been asked to be done. Aside that, the police are indeed carrying out investigations to know where these assailants came from. Who could they be? The unknown gunmen, do they have identities? And who are they? Olive Osalge, I know you just talked about this, but no doubt we cannot stop but mention that it is a developing story and it's one that everyone is indeed talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, who are these men? You've asked the right questions in this regard, Joe. It seems that I did see some tweets yesterday where someone was talking about the fact that there seems to be a lot of laziness surrounding the stories, because it's just as if these days we see killings, we don't know who orchestrates these killings, and it's just easier to classify them under these categories of unknown gunmen. These unknown gunmen are people. Who are they? What is their motive? What is their mission? Who is sponsoring them? When will this come to an end? Will there be punitive measures to prevent this from happening again? These are the questions that Nigerians are asking.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to ask these questions, but for me, I don't know if I'm not the only one, or I'm the only one who's tired of asking these questions. And you know why? Because we ask these questions in Benue, we ask them in Southern Kaduna, we ask them in Katsina, in Borno, we ask them in different parts of the country. We've continued to ask. For 8 years, Joe, there's nobody who has been arrested as a sponsor of terrorism. For 8 years, in fact, in the last 10 years, there's nobody that we can point at, and say, oh, the government actually arrested this person or has sent this person to jail or has something. Give us anything at all. And so when these things happen, it seems like, okay, another one, let's wait for another week or another 2 weeks for, another disaster to happen again. And we'll continue to ask these questions. But are we ever going to get answers? And if we didn't get them in Benue, we didn't get them in Southern Kaduna, we didn't get them in Borno or any part of the country, why are we going to get them in Ondo? I mean, it just is really, really heartbreaking, but that's the reality of where we are today. The government yesterday evening was posting pictures of a dinner with the president and governors and the vice president. They were at dinner the evening where 35, according to reports, Nigerians were shot and killed in the most gruesome manner in a church.
Murdered.
They were having dinner and they posted videos of them at dinner.
Quite sad.
Let's ask the questions, but I mean, I guess that's the right thing to do. But to be honest, I'm numb at this point.
That's right. All right, let me take just one more at the top of the Punch newspaper as well. There's one more story there, and it's got to do with the fact that primary Buhari meets governors, party chairman, stakeholders, police, tighter security, just as the Salge said. And this took place even after there was indeed pandemonium and there was an alert that Ondo was indeed going through a bloody Sunday. But that's all I can take on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Back to you, Olive.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. Let's bring it back home still here. Looking at the Nation newspaper. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, the big story there says, consensus candidates are best option, Buhari insists. APC will win in third straight time. We're seeing here, we have the updates we're going to be following. Of course, we know that the primaries will be happening from today up until Wednesday in Abuja. We'll be following up with the details of the story. Petrol freight rate rises. That's still on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Kola Abiola is PRP presidential candidate. Emir breaches peace at anniversary. That's on page 27. And on the top of the paper, of course, they're talking about the APC or Progressives Congress. It's a moment of decision for them indeed. On the top of the paper on page 37, Fashola hands over houses to Kano beneficiaries. And on page 19, we have bad loans, mortgage banks, MFBs get 15-day deadline. I'll take that again. Bad loans, mortgage banks, MFBs get 15-day deadline. And of course, the story everybody's talking about here in Nigeria, how gunmen invaded church, killed many in Owo, or Akeredolu whips during visit, Buhari, others mourn. That's on page 7. Indeed, the whole of Nigeria is weeping and mourning and asking for questions and expecting answers. But that's what I'll take on the Nation.
All right, moving away from Nigeria, let's go to Tanzania and answer what we can find on the Citizen newspapers. It says their government unveils 10-year plan to save the environment. And that's on the Nation this morning. Other stories that we can find: UK faces $8 million claim in Tanzania bribery case. And also NMB banks pledged to its shareholders after record dividend. You can also find on the Citizen this morning, international conflict. Well, international stories. Ukraine pushes back on Russian forces in fierce fighting. And also national appeal, pass key regional tax laws. ELA challenged. We have time for one more. Well, you can also see pictures there. It says that measures to be taken on the strategic environmental conservation plan will be in response to uncontrolled livestock migration, expansion of agricultural activities, degradation of water sources, excessive use of firewood and charcoal, and inadequate waste management. And that's with regards to the major story that you can see there on your screen. It also is saying that local governments at the regional, district, ward, and villages to hamlet levels should ensure that degraded areas are restored and conserved by planting trees. They should also participate in the National Tree Planting Program to plant 1.5 million trees annually. Very interesting moves there in Tanzania. But those are the big ones that we can find on the Citizen newspapers this morning, and all that we can share at this time.